Today, I want to explain you why I think you should hold Bitcoin. And this video is basically an attempt to summarize my main arguments for people that I have discussions with. And oftentimes in these discussions, you kind of get lost into details. And with that, I just want to kind of sum it up and be like, okay, here, watch it, and then you'll probably have an understanding for the main reasons. So why I think everyone should hold Bitcoin basically revolves around two things. First, it's about sovereignty, being sovereign, being fully in control of your money. And second is about protecting purchasing power. So you can basically say it's about protecting your purchasing power over space and over time. And with that, I want to just jump right into it. So right now we're living in rather unstable times. We have a lot of geopolitical conflicts. We have war in Europe. We saw during COVID that things can change quite fast, and that rights that seemed like unshakable and we took for granted can be taken away quite quickly. And also with talks about mandatory military service and it's just a possibility for war in general. Having to flee is a real consideration for people. So if you need to flee a country, then and no, and you would have, and otherwise you wouldn't need to go to the military, then you will face sanctions. So, for example, Ukrainian men are not allowed to leave the country anymore for some time already. And now if they leave, their bank accounts will get frozen because it makes sense for the government to say to the banks, hey, this guy does not follow his duties as a citizen, sanction him, make his life harder so that he comes back. And if that happens, you're really fucked because right now we're all heavily dependent on digital payments. Like we use Visa, MasterCard, our bank accounts for most of our transactions on a daily basis. And as I mentioned in a previous video, no one really accepts Bitcoin nowadays, but you can exchange Bitcoin for local currency basically anywhere in the world without issues. Even if you can't get an exchange account, you can just find a peer-to-peer exchange, meet with someone, send a Bitcoin, he gives you cash, and you're liquid. You can act, you can, I don't know, buy some food or whatnot. So if you only have, I don't know, ETFs, stocks, bank account, even gold, it's very hard to transport your purchasing power over space. And it can be easily confiscated. Also, if you have if you need a smuggler that gets you over the border or something like that, if he sees that you have a bit of gold with you, he'll probably just take it away. But with Bitcoin, you can have a hardware wallet, you can have a wallet on your phone, you can even just remember the recovery phrase, like the 12 words to restore X to the wallets in your brain, or write the words down. It's way easier to hide a paper somewhere than a gold bar. And that's just incredibly powerful and gives you a lot of sovereignty. And with that, I want to come to the second point, which is about protecting purchasing power. So if we look at the money supply of the major fiat currencies, of the major currencies like the euro, the dollar, it's more or less the same for every currency, then the charts all look like this. So the money supply grows quickly over time, and it's basically an exponential growth. So the rate of growth will accelerate. And if you just think about it in a very simple way, if you have like 100 monetary units and you have one of these monies, and then this monetary supply gets doubled and you still have only one of these monies, your relative purchasing power has halved because now you only have like 1/200th instead of 1/100th. And this is basically what happens with all major currencies. And there are multiple reasons for that. I won't go into that. But if you just look at these charts, it's quite obvious. And with Bitcoin, it's fundamentally different because Bitcoin gets treated as like digital gold. And one of the reasons for that is because it's scarce. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. And that's a hard cap that no one can change. There is no hard cap for dollars or euros. And with gold, there's also a fixed supply. So the total amount of gold in the world is a cube with an edge length of, I think, 17 meters, if I remember correctly. And of course, they find new gold, but it's getting harder and harder to find new gold. And like overall gold is limited, while euros and dollars are not. And Bitcoin is strictly limited. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. And if you hold a certain Bitcoin amount, you can be sure that your relative share won't get inflated away. Like your relative share will stay more or less the same. Like right now, I think there are around 20 million Bitcoin in circulation. And that's just extremely powerful. And of course, Bitcoin has wild fluctuations over the years. Like just in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, we crashed from $120,000 to now around 70,000, and like it's highly volatile. There are heavy fluctuations, but over the long term, measured in dollars or euros, Bitcoin has increased in value. And with that, you can just protect your purchasing power over time. And that basically sums up my main argument. So Bitcoin works as a life raft. It allows you to act in difficult situations. It allows you to do with your money whatever you want, and no one can stop you from using it. No one can freeze it. No one can take it away from you. And also over time, you will probably hold or increase your purchasing power. What's really, really important about this is that you need to take responsibility. You need to do self-custody. You need to hold your Bitcoin yourself. If you buy an ETF, then you might benefit from the value development of Bitcoin. So you have basically one pillar, the protection of your money over time, but you don't have the second pillar that is also very important, is the protection of your money over space, basically. Because if there is a war and you flee the country, then you'll probably have a hard time selling your ETF and getting access to that money, because they will just freeze your accounts. And same thing if you hold your Bitcoin in exchanges, then they can just freeze your accounts, and it's the same thing as with your normal bank account, basically. So get a wallet. It's very easy. There are free options. Go to the App Store, download a wallet, and write down a recovery phrase. That's very important, because there is no customer support. There's no one to help you if you fuck up. It's fully on you. And it's relatively simple. Basically, just write down these words somewhere safe. And yeah, with that, you're ready to go. Of course, eventually, if you like put some more money into it, I don't know, if you put $1,000 into it, spend $80 to get a hardware wallet, just a dedicated device that stores everything offline, because your mobile phone can be hacked or whatnot. But already having Bitcoin on a smartphone wallet is way better than just having a bank account. And you can even just remember those words, and then you need nothing. You only need your brain, and you can restore your purchasing power anywhere in the world. And that is incredibly powerful. Yeah, so consider Bitcoin as a life raft. And also a question a lot of times people ask, like, how much should I put into Bitcoin? And that's kind of your personal choice. So I would recommend study Bitcoin, understand how monetary systems work, why all monetary systems kind of failed, except for gold, more or less. But like all man-made monetary systems fail eventually. And yeah, then just start small, get comfortable with it, use it, delete your wallet, restore it, be sure that you have a good backup strategy, and yeah, then just give it a try, see if you feel comfortable, see if you can understand it, and yeah, then consider how important do you think it is to have this life raft. Like, it's a question about probabilities, and that's a personal decision. So yeah, with that, I hope you now have an idea of why I personally think that holding Bitcoin is extremely important, and that everybody, especially young people, should hold some Bitcoin. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any thoughts, if you need any recommendations. I don't know. I'm happy to help. And with that, I wish you the best. And yeah, stay sovereign.